The Evergreen Lodge sits nestled in the Alaskan wilderness. Towering pines surround it, their branches whispering secrets to the wind. The lodge stands as a solitary sentinel, a guardian of the stories that have unfolded within its walls. A silent lake reflects the moon, casting an ethereal glow over the landscape. The water is so still, it seems like a mirror, capturing the essence of the night. It's a picture of serenity, a moment frozen in time. The tranquility is almost palpable, a stark contrast to the lodge's hidden past. But beauty can be deceiving. As dusk falls, the forest takes on an eerie quality, shadows lengthening and merging into a foreboding landscape. This lodge has a dark side. It holds secrets. It whispers of tragedy and loss, of moments that have left an indelible mark on its very structure. And it's filled with the echoes of those who never left. The air is thick with memories, each room a silent witness to the past. Built in the early 1900s, the lodge was a beacon of warmth. It stood as a testament to human resilience and the desire for connection in the heart of the wilderness. It provided respite for weary travelers, a place where they could rest and rejuvenate before continuing their arduous journeys. Miners, hunters, and adventurers sought refuge within its walls. They came from far and wide, drawn by the promise of comfort and camaraderie. They shared stories by the crackling fire, their voices mingling with the sounds of the wilderness outside. The lodge was a sanctuary, a place where bonds were forged and memories made. But their laughter couldn't drown out the whispers. The walls seemed to absorb their joy, only to release it as faint echoes in the dead of night. The wilderness held its breath. Something was different here. An unseen presence lingered, watching, waiting. The lodge became a silent witness to history. It stood through the changing seasons, a constant in a world of flux. It saw joy and sorrow, celebrations and farewells. Each event left its mark, adding to the tapestry of its existence. It felt the pulse of life and the chill of death. The lodge was more than just a building. It was a living entity, shaped by the experiences of those who passed through its doors. And then came the winter of 1932. A winter so harsh, it seemed to freeze time itself. It was a winter that would forever stain the lodge's history. The snow fell relentlessly, burying the past and the present under a blanket of white. The winter of 1932 was brutal. Snow fell relentlessly, blanketing the land. The weight on the mountain grew unbearable. Then it happened. A deafening roar split the silence. A wall of white thundered down the slopes. The avalanche. It slammed into the Evergreen Lodge with terrifying force. Timbers cracked, windows shattered. The mountain claimed its victims. Some say the lodge was never the same. The snow melted, revealing the devastation. The rebuilding began, but some things couldn't be rebuilt. The spirits of those lost lingered. They were trapped, tethered to the place of their demise. Years passed, and the once bustling Evergreen Lodge fell into disrepair. The walls, once filled with laughter and joy, now stood silent, holding on to secrets of the past. The Evergreen Lodge reopened its doors, hoping to recapture its former glory. Guests returned, drawn to its rustic charm and the promise of a peaceful retreat. But whispers of the past followed, echoing through the corridors. Unexplained noises echoed through the halls, unsettling the guests. Footsteps in the dead of night when no one was there sent shivers down their spines. Doors creaking open and slamming shut on their own. Guests reported cold spots, as if someone unseen was passing by. They felt a presence, unseen but undeniably felt, lurking in the shadows. Whispers seemed to emanate from the walls as if the very building was trying to communicate. Were they imagining things? Or were they experiencing the lingering sorrow of the lodge's tragic past? A past filled with untold stories and forgotten memories? One room in particular became notorious. Room 217, where the air felt heavier and the atmosphere more oppressive. It was the site of the most chilling encounters, where guests reported seeing ghostly apparitions and experiencing unexplainable phenomena. It was here that the veil between the living and the dead seemed thinnest, where the past and present intertwined in a haunting dance. Sarah and Michael arrived at the Evergreen Lodge full of excitement. They were newly married, and this was their dream honeymoon destination. The lodge was nestled deep in the forest, offering a perfect escape from the hustle and bustle of city life. The lodge, with its secluded beauty, was the perfect honeymoon destination. Surrounded by towering trees and the sounds of nature, it promised peace and tranquility. They were given the keys to room 217. The receptionist handed them the keys with a knowing smile, but said nothing about the room's history. They didn't know its reputation. The room had a history of unexplained occurrences that locals whispered about but rarely discussed openly. The first night Sarah woke with a start. She felt an eerie presence in the room, something she couldn't quite explain. A cold hand rested on her arm. It was icy and sent shivers down her spine. She turned to see a man standing by the bed. His presence was both unsettling and sorrowful. He was tall and gaunt, his clothes tattered. He looked like he belonged to another era, a ghost from the past. His eyes held a deep sadness. Then, he vanished. Sarah was left trembling, unsure of what she had just witnessed. Over the next few days, the occurrences intensified. The room seemed to come alive with paranormal activity. Objects moved on their own. Whispers filled their ears, echoing through the empty room. Michael, initially skeptical, couldn't deny it any longer. He had seen and heard too much to dismiss it as mere imagination. Something was in room 217 with them. They felt its presence constantly, a shadow that never left. Their honeymoon became a terrifying encounter with the unknown. What was meant to be a romantic getaway turned into a nightmare. They left the lodge shaken, their romantic getaway forever tainted by the presence they couldn't explain. The memories of their honeymoon would always be overshadowed by the haunting experiences they endured. Word of the Evergreen Lodge's haunting spread. Paranormal investigators arrived, eager to document the unexplained. They came armed with EMF readers, EVP recorders, and cameras. They hoped to capture evidence of the spirits rumored to roam the halls. They weren't disappointed. EMF spikes registered in room 217. EVP recordings captured disembodied voices whispering names and pleas for help. Cameras caught fleeting shadows and unexplained light anomalies. The evidence was mounting. The Evergreen Lodge was a hotbed of paranormal activity. But who were these spirits? Why were they trapped here? One name surfaced again and again: Henry. Henry, according to local lore, was a worker at the lodge. He was killed in the 1932 avalanche. His spirit, it seemed, was the most active presence in the lodge. Some believe he's trapped, unable to move on. Others believe he's a benevolent caretaker, watching over the lodge he loved in life. The Evergreen Lodge doesn't shy away from its haunted reputation. They've embraced it. They share the stories with guests. They even host ghost hunts for those brave enough to seek out the spirits themselves. But one question remains. The Evergreen Lodge is a place of stark contrasts. It's a place of breathtaking beauty and chilling tales. It's a place where the living and the dead seem to coexist. Would you dare to spend a night within its walls? Would you brave the cold spots and the whispers? Would you risk an encounter with Henry? The answer, my friends, lies within you. But be warned, the Evergreen Lodge doesn't give up its secrets easily.